sound കുറച്ച് പോയി മാ.
One good move makes all the difference. The best way to predict future is to create it. Take a move. Create a future. Join Shobhit University. One good move makes all the difference. The best way to predict future is to create it. Take a move. Create a future. Join Shobhit University.
Good morning to the viewers from India and abroad for the today's national webinar series on post-COVID-19 doubling farmers' income by 22. Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, a NAC accredited deemed to be university, and its centers of excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agri-Business and Disaster Management Studies. And on behalf of the Chancellor of the Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, and the Chancellor, Shobhit University, Gango, and on behalf of the Vice Chancellors of both universities and faculties of both universities, we welcome all the participants and the guest speaker, Dr. A.K. Srivastav. A very good morning for today's program. So far, under this webinar series, the university has organized 6 webinars on the following topics, which are of great relevance today. Sustainable Uttar Pradesh 2025. This was held on 27th June 2020, which was inaugurated by the Honorable Minister of State, Animal Husbandry, Fisheries and Dairying, Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Balyan. The second webinar was on the topic Role of Agricultural Societies and E-Governance, which was held on 18th August 2020, which had the speakers of repute, Dr. Ashok Dalwai, the chairman of the Doubling the Farmers' Income by 2022 committee, and also the chairman of the Empowered Committee on Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022, and the CEO of National Rainfed Area Authority, Government of India, and also the Honorable Secretary General of African Asian Rural Development Organization, headquartered at New Delhi, and the Regional Director, Asia Pacific Region of International Cooperative Alliance, located at Delhi, and the CEO of National Cooperative Union of India, and the Managing Director of Fisheries Cooperative, National Federation, and also had participation from Mr. I.P.S. Sethi, Deputy Director General, National Informatics Center, and a representative from the Government of Kerala, from the dairy department, and how they have introduced computerization in dairy cooperatives in the state of Kerala. The third webinar was on the topic of blockchain technology in fisheries value chain, which was held on 23rd September 2020. And it was addressed by Dr. K. Was, the former director of ICAR, Central Inland Fisheries Research Institute, Kolkata. The fourth one was on self-contained village, a felt need of the day, which was held on 15th October 2020. Fifth webinar was on the topic Spices Informatics Network Value Chain, on 22nd October 2020. And the last webinar, which is our sixth webinar in the series, Smart Tribal Agriculture, Lantana Camera, Camouflaged Treasure Trove, which was held on 29th October 2020. Today, we have invited a distinguished agricultural scientist of the country, Dr. Anil Kumar Srivastav. He is the first batch 1976 of Indian Council of Agricultural Research, belonging to Indian Research Service, to talk on a very important topic, smart hill agriculture. Why smart hill agriculture? Today, about why smart hill agriculture? Today, about 720 million people, or 12% of the world population, live in mountain region, many of them economically and politically marginalized. The Rio +20 outcome document, The Future We Want, says that mountains needs to be covered by the Sustainable Development Goals, especially the goals where mountains play a crucial role for global sustainable development, which include the focus areas related to water and sanitation, poverty eradication, food security, energy, ecosystems, and biodiversity, as well as climate change. Mountain, the water towers of the world, and also provide food, feed, and medicine. Just 1 minute. A recent FAO report on integrated approach for the sustainable development of mountain agriculture emphasizes importance of mountain to the water, energy, food nexus. Mountain resources provide fresh water and renewable energy and are essential for the water, energy, food nexus. The nexus outlines the drivers that can improve livelihoods and economic growth based on appropriate policies and actions addressing water, energy, and food production. Positive impacts resulting from these policies and actions are essential for reaching the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, including reducing poverty and eliminating hunger at national and global levels. The world's mountain are its water reservoirs, and providing about 70% of the world's freshwater resources to around half of the world population for domestic use, agriculture, and industry. Mountains are important watersheds, conserving snow cover and releasing water slowly to feed streams and rivers throughout the year all over the world. This makes mountain ecosystems a vital source of irrigation water, which is essential for crop and livestock production, both upstream and downstream, to enhance food and nutritional security. The current scenario in India. Major hill area falls into the following categories: the district geographical region, with wide variation in climate, land use, and culture. Dr. Srivastava, I welcome you.
Thank you, sir. I'm very happy.
The following categories include Western Himalayan region, comprising of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand. Eastern Himalayan region, comprising of Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Mizoram, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Tripura, and Sikkim. Siliguri, Darjeeling districts of West Bengal. East Coast hilly region stretched over Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Odisha, and West Coast hilly region spreading from Kerala, Karnataka, Goa, and Maharashtra. The recent publication of Dr. Janaki Ram and Vijay Rakesh Reddy talks about that the hilly areas constitute undulated terrains with a variety of agroclimatic conditions, low population density, very low per capita availability of land, and practical difficulties in intensive cropping. For economic upliftment of rural hilly community and environmental restoration, proper land use planning has to be done with the different horticulture and plantation crops. Cultivation in this region is carried out in fragmented and terrace fields. The farming system, agriculture as well as horticulture, is mainly dependent on composition of soil, position of the field, slope aspects, presence, absence of irrigation, density of the population, and their literacy rates, etc. They also talk about, in order to boost up the horticulture sector, central and state governments are working through introduction of horticulture mission for Northeast and Himalayan states is a part of the mission for integrated development of horticulture scheme being implemented for overall development of horticulture in Northeastern region and Himalayan states. A complete package of supply coupled with marketing and processing facilities should be made available at subsidized prices to the farmers in hilly area. They also recommend crop diversification should be targeted with a special emphasis on high value crops such as vegetable seeds, orchids, spices, and mushrooms with adequate marketing facilities. Kill mountain is the source of food, feed, and medicine. Traditional and modern methods of water and land use planning for resource use efficiency and need-based accelerated adoption of integrated agri, horti, silvipasture, livestock fishery system. And there are challenges and opportunities in hill agriculture. The farmers in the hilly area face the following problems: mechanization, small landholding size, villages are scattered, farmers are unable to contact other farmers, knowledge transfer and sharing, irrigation facility, market reach, transportation and connectivity, and productivity. In another article, which is published in 2016 by Dr. D.R. Singh and L.C. Dave, they talk about floriculture industries its opportunities and challenges in Indian hills. The hill region of India include Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Uttarakhand, and the northeastern region comprising of states Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, and Mizoram, Nagaland, Tripura, and Sikkim has been identified as the potential area for the development of floriculture owing to its diverse geoclimatic conditions and floral diversity. But they also talk about constraints, lack of reliable database, non-availability of quality seeds, non-availability of necessary inputs like advanced technology, credit and transport facilities, fertilizers, pesticides, farm implements, tools and irrigations. They're all not available to the growers at reasonable prices. Lack of adequate infrastructure. Floriculture crops have not been included with the overall land use planning. Inadequate support to post-harvest management, including grading, storage, marketing, and processing. Poor extension and training efforts in this sector. There are also two important projects. One is ICMOD project. This is International Center for Integrated Mountain Development, which is a regional intergovernmental learning and knowledge sharing center that helps to support the sustainable development of mountains and people, serving the 8 regional member countries of Hindu Kush Himalayas. There is another very important program of ICR, Mera Gaurav program. Doubling the farmers' income by 2022 committee report dealt with digital technology in agriculture, volume 12B, chapter 7 to 10, and empowering the farmers through extension and knowledge dissemination, volume 11. In the digital technology in agriculture, the strategic recommendation, which has got about 7 mission mode projects, digitalized agriculture in the form of smart irrigated agri-systems, smart rainfed agri-systems, smart tribal agri-system, smart hill agriculture falls under smart rainfed agri-systems, diverse digitalized agromet advisories, and agricultural risk management system solutions, digitalized agricultural resources information system, and micro level planning for achieving smart village and smart farming.
Yeah.
Digitalized agriculture value chain from farms to profits, nearly about 400 agricultural commodities, digitalized access to inputs, technology, knowledge, skill, agricultural finance, credit, marketing, agribusiness management to farmers. Digitalized integrated land and water management system per drop more crop. Digitalized farm health management, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, and fish health for reduction of farmers' losses. And the recent promulgation of agricultural legislation meant for Indian Agricultural Reforms 2020, namely the ecosystem for one nation, one agriculture market through the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Production Facilitation Ordinance 2020, promulgated on 5th June 2020, and National Framework on Farming Agreements through the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farming Services Ordinance 2020, dated 15th June 2020, and the doubling the farmers' income by 2020 recommendation, the 7 mission mode programs, and the 2 agricultural reforms legislation can facilitate setting up of at least 2.25 agri-IT startups in the country, 1 per each Gram Panchayat. The Honorable Chancellor of the University will join and the valedictory address. And now let me introduce Dr. Anil Kumar Srivastava, a distinguished agriculture scientist of the country. And I will invite him for his keynote address, but let me introduce him, to the audience. Dr. Anil Kumar Srivastava is born at Knowledge City, Allahabad on January 1st, 1949. And he retired from the Indian Council of Agricultural Research, a premier institution of agricultural research in India, on December 31st, 2010. Dr. Anil Kumar Srivastava presents a fine blend of an agricultural researcher, technology development scientist, research manager, and a team leader of over 4 decades. Dr. Srivastava started his career as extension agronomist at Allahabad Agriculture Institute, Naini, Allahabad in 1971. And he joined the first batch of Agriculture Research Service of Indian Council of Agricultural Research in 1976. Dr. Srivastava has worked on resource conservation and water management, climate resilient integrated farming systems towards sustainable and profitable farming encompassing major ecoregions of the country. His research and technology contribution include basic processes including nutrient and hydrological cycling, agro-ecosystems, and environment factors, site-specific integrated farming systems imparting climate resilience, soil productivity, and sink management. His selected research and technology development projects include sustainable rural livelihood security in Northwest Himalaya, conservation of silphy pastures in Gangada, Himachal Pradesh, sustainable management of shifting cultivation in Eastern Ghats, productivity constraints and alternate land uses under different ecoregion, and productivity protected cultivation and organic farming in hill region. Dr. Srivastava developed his knowledge base on nutrient cycling at Mississippi State University, USA, on water and food and scaling up the research at International Water Management Institute, Colombo, Sri Lanka, and Yunnan Center, Nairobi, Kenya, and on hill agriculture at ICMAR, Kathmandu, Nepal, and also at SAC-SAR, Dhaka. Dr. Srivastava organized one Indo-US advanced training on nutrient cycling and 2 summer schools on conservation farming and sustainable farming in hills. He has published more than 145 publications in reputed national and international journals and 2 books by him and his team. His book on hill agriculture in perspective has also taken final shape. He has received 2 national awards, one from ICAR, another from the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizer, Government of India. Dr. A.K. Srivastava continues to actively work for sustainable agriculture and farmer welfare with ICAR, BAFE on research advisory, and Indian Council of Forestry Research Education as domain expert in environment. His endeavor is to establish farming as preferred career option towards achieving the sustainable development goals. This is very much appreciated, Dr. A.K. Srivastava. I invite Dr. Srivastava for today's talk on smart agriculture, and in view of that, his endeavor is to make agriculture as a preferred option. And he is going to cover in his talk that every aspect or all aspects of hill agriculture and how to achieve digitalized hill agriculture value system. And Dr. Srivastava, we would like to listen to you for your powerful address today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me go to the PowerPoint presentation. Is it okay? Is it coming?
Is it visible? You carry on. Thank you.
Oh, very good. I am very happy. At the outset, let me express my gratitude to Professor Moni, who has given such a nice introduction to the topic, the crucial aspects of the hills and doubling the farmers' income and hill agriculture per se. I would like to just draw your kind and at this, let me give you also this opportunity, the possibilities. And as much variability is there in the hills, that much is the possibility of achieving and converting what we can say normally we consider constraints, converting constraints into great opportunities. If you see, I would like to request kindly to this first slide itself. And what I have shown is the terrain conditions, right from the snow peaks in the background to the hill slopes and the waterway. Now, this also shows, in a way, the crucial need of the Himalayan ecosystem for the nation, for the environment, and for the prosperity. With this, I take your I take the opportunity to invite to the subsequent slides, where you see the relevance of the farm sector. It is so important. I mean, it's a magnitude, the area that is, I mean, nationally, if we see more than 140 million hectares of the farm sector, then the population, and then the livelihood, almost 50 crores, half of the population is directly and indirectly involved on the farm sector. But the sector also supports not only individually, but it also supports the economic prosperity of the country, other economic activities. At the outset, if we put some questions, why smart field farming? How to attain resilient, profitable, and sustainable hill farming? That I think we will attempt to in my own humble way. And a very crucial thing is, we often say that the produce is there, but there is no taker is there. In fact, when we are farming for our domestic needs, it's altogether different aspect. It's altogether different sector. But when we are farming for the market, then the market needs have to be taken into cognizance. And then with all this, the infusion, as Dr. Professor Muni so nicely brought out, the role and importance of the ICT. Unless and until we involve this digital technology, we involve the scaling up, we involve the precision in the farm sector, see, and with a high input of the knowledge, how we are going to fare even country-wise or world-wise. So the ICT-enabled smart hill farming, which has to be future-ready, is very, very crucial for the time to come. Well, talking about relevance, even yesterday, the India Today present issue dropped in my mailbox, and see, they have given a special issue right on the farm revolution. They say farm revolution 2. So we have till now we have already progressed with the farm revolution 1, and now it is farm revolution 2, and it is very, very crucial. And probably, as Dr. Muni also said, the initiative or the first step, first mega step has already been taken by the government by enacting the legislative cover, and the that gives us the roadmap for the future. I would like to remind to our audience who may be directly oriented to environment issues, and who may be directly oriented to other non-environmental issues. The Himalayas, the hills, it is very, very crucial from 2 points of view. Not only Himalayan region is crucial, and for that matter, the Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats. Maybe in some of the next opportunity we can discuss in detail the specific aspects related to our hills on the eastern coast and our hills on the western coast, and at the same time the Nilgiris and the Palani hills, how crucial they are for environment security. And it is more than becoming evident, whether it is from the point of view of carbon trap. Just a reminder that in our tropical and subtropical climate, the vegetation is one of the most important carbon sink in the ecosystem. Then the Himalayas, so many our neighboring countries, border population, it's of very, very strategic importance. Just below in the slide, I have just enumerated, listed our sustainable development goals, so whether it is poverty, health, zero hunger, life on land, clean water, sanitation, climate action. All these are so crucial, and it speaks the role of the or the value of the hill sector, value of the agriculture, particularly the smart agriculture, and why smart agriculture. Maybe after one or two slides, we may specifically discuss on that. There has to be a rethinking, there has to be a reorientation, which gives us an opportunity where we have to taken the journey till now. You know, our mindset over the last 50 years. Yes, that was very crucial those days, that we need to have food so that people can get food. But at the same time, what happens beyond that? Now the qualitative increase, having received, having achieved the food sufficiency, now the quality and then the prosperity. So that this paradigm shift has to be there. Now that is where you see the target is how we can go for a inclusive program, converting the possibilities into the realities. The keywords could be for our smart hill agriculture, for doubling the farm income, on productivity, profitability, sustainability, and rural livelihood security. Now, in the current context, an intelligent farming system has to, you see, we are talking about the climate smart agriculture. It has to be very resilient. It has to be adaptive to change with high degree of agility. And at the same time, now all this edifice we are going to build over whom? Over the shoulders of the farmers. So we need smart farmers for that. Smart agriculture, smart farmer, smart researchers. So there has to be an all-encompassing rethinking and rebooting the whole affair related to agriculture, particularly with reference to the hill area as well. Now, if we see, it has of course, as Professor Muni has also mentioned, smart hill agriculture, it has a very wide canvas. So pardon me if I am overstretching the presentation, but I would like to be short, at the same time trying to pick up those points which are directly and most valuable for this. Now, just I have put our national map. It's of course it's geographic map and showing all the geographical features. And if we see, as mentioned by Dr. Muni as well, that we have the hill region, yes, the Himalayan, North, West Himalaya, Northeast Himalaya, the central and plateau area, and East Coast and West Coast hills. Then the Palni Hills, the Nilgiris, they present a completely different and very crucial ecosystem. So we have to take cognizance of that. What it is, as we will see in some of the next slides, see generalizations, and this is of course in this slide I have just put the data, just try to emphasize its relevance and importance. Again, describing about Northwest Himalaya, Northeast Himalaya, I think let us appreciate that. The idea is that alarming land degradation is there if we don't take care of the ecosystem and resources. And a typical feature of the Northeast Himalaya is the dominance of the forest. Community leadership is very strong. Shifting cultivation is very prominent. Yes, now every time and again, people blame shifting cultivation. Now the question is that shifting cultivation is very, very sustainable in the type of ecoregion that it is being practiced. the problem, the degradation and the problem has come to shifting cultivation only because of its intensification. So we have to look into that. And myself, the author, along with his team, we have worked out a very good package of shifting cultivation management at all the stages of shifting cultivation. You see, clearing, cultivation, and restoration. So by that, a cycle of about 15 years or 12 to 15 years could be very well extended to more than 15 years to more than 20 to 25 years. The diversity of the hills and its agriculture is shown in this slide, where we can very well see that about 45% area and enterprise goes to field crops, about another 20 and 20% to livestock and fruits, and rest on others. So that is how, and this is based on hard data. Now the transformation of hill agriculture, that is what we are at this juncture looking at. It can be both. See, the time doesn't wait. I mean, we have to catch up, we have to run, we have to attempt many times faster. And so the simultaneous and the sequential. These two things are very important. And the effort is to be made at with all the seriousness and with all the urgency. Simultaneous, yes, science-based, innovative, intelligent farming system, it is there. We have to implement. Oriented to marketing needs, only that, I mean, this needs to be put in. It's the demand pattern is already there. Ecosystem specific, natural resource supported, smart hill farming. Now it is here in ecosystem specific, that is where I would like to emphasize at this stage that the variability in hill area, hill region is so great. Every other, we will see in the in the hill ecosystem grouping, it's great. And the knowledge generation has to be very, very specific. And that is where I think we have to collate, we have to digitize, as our emphasis is the available knowledge, so that outright it can be used, and specific site-specific studies, ecosystem-specific studies have to be initiated at the right earnest. Sequential, yes, because there is a logical sequence, logical chain of the events, logical chain of the improvement. So that sequential also have to be outright implemented to make a beginning with. Now, whether it is protected cultivation, whether it is perennial vegetation and climate, and the farm plan incorporating the climate resilience, contingency, and watershed management. We are talking about doubling the farmer's income. One of the crucial thing is to improve the productivity, to do more, to produce more. Another important thing is to produce what is required to be produced. Otherwise, I mean, it is highly criminal and unbelievable to know that the such high value commodities, they are left in the field. Nobody, the prices are not there. But at the outset, who asked them to produce that much, which will not get the price? When we are addressing to the market, we have to take care of the market. Then the climate resilience contingency, and this has to be incorporated to prevent the losses and the loss prevention per se. We will discuss in the some of the next transformation of research and other aspects, that the, see, when we are addressing to the market has a continuous demand pattern. It is not one go. Yes, I mean, the milk we need every day, vegetables we need every day. Similarly, the food we need every day. Of course, much of the grains can be stored, fine. But again, their scheduling can be spread as much as possible, so that the losses are prevented, so that the demand and the availability and the need, they are fine matched. So the gap is minimized, and it is the gap which causes the losses. I will just put a point. I mean, everywhere you go to, I mean, we contact any university, any research program, anywhere, they will say, we are going for sowing management, we are scheduling crop, we are doing this, that. Fine. But then who is doing for the harvest management? In fact, the commodity that we get, it has related to the harvest now. So that harvest management has to start before even sowing management. How? What type of seed material we have to have, what type of planting material we have to have, so that the harvest gets staggered, the harvest gets distributed. You see, it is like that. Then at the same time, the integrated farming system development mechanism, I have tried to discuss this aspect under 5, the agro-ecosystem specificity, resource management, then everything put together, integrated farming system, supported by the resources, supported by the terrain specificity. Then the skill, whatever is possible, how we can get it converted into the output. Then the market-oriented intelligent farming system, consumer specificity, loss prevention, as we said. There can be so many stages of cushioning, from the harvest that is there in the threshing floor to in the local storage, in the farmer's storage, to in the processing and grading situation, then the market, and then if it is still to be, then rank efficient, capacity full, we have to go for chain of cold storage. So then the research, fifth point, the research, ICT technology, farmer skill, paradigm shift. Now let's just give a thought at this moment. Most of our curriculum, I mean, I am part of the ICR system, but most of the curriculum, you see, we as a tendency, I don't know, I mean, it may go against somebody's performance or whatever we may say. We tend to go for the convenient things. We tend to follow the prevailing trends. We tend to follow the easy things, which gives result, which gives us a career security, which gives us a promotion. Fine. But how about the vast majority of the responsibility that we just leave it, gray areas? Now, somebody has to work for that, no? And who is going to be that somebody? That somebody, that things has to be started right from our curriculum. So our curriculum has to be, it's fine. I mean, if we talk to anybody, any concerned person, I'm little deviating, I guess, then everybody will say that, oh, we have Dean's Committee. I know, I was there with the education department, I mean, of the ICR. Dean's Committee hota hai, every 2 years we revise, every 4 years. Are fine, but see, today we don't need only BSc AGs, specialized in a particular group, fine. Market, this, that. When the polyhouse is to be there, polyhouse, somebody has to manage polyhouse, no? Somebody has to construct it, somebody has to repair it. When we have small tools, whether it is power tiller, whether it is a tractor, whether it is anything, that mechanic trade, it has to come. A car mechanic, we can't expect a car mechanic to do this thing. So the question is that we have to go for all these, and there is a much bigger scope, actually much bigger scope of pre-farming and post-farming activities in addition to the actual farming activities. About agro-ecosystem, it is just I have tried to list here. You see, the idea is that how fine-tuned could be the utilization of the resources with the nature of a particular area and with the demand or with the need of the growing biological material. Now, the components, primary, secondary, tertiary, I have grouped. The altitude is there, aspect, rainfall, and kindly take it. I mean, those of us who have been working in hill areas, we are very well oriented. Otherwise, there cannot be any generalization in the hill agriculture as far as the resources are concerned and their utilization is concerned. Because every next slope, and it could be within 20 meter or within 50 meters, you see the orientation to sun, for example. Now, if we travel from Delhi to any other place here and there, we may not bother about the orientation to the sun. Only we can see the direction, whether we are going north or south, but or east or west. But when we are in the hill area, orientation to the sun is going to make all the difference. Why? Because of the terrain condition when the sun reaches to a cultivable site. Just take an example that during winters, the temperature dips very much and the frost effect is there. But in the slope, in the aspect where the sun comes by about 8 o'clock, that problem is not there. But where it drops around 10:30 or 12 o'clock, whole lot of problem is there. You can't grow crops which are very sensitive to that. So all these things have to be fine tuned, and that is where, honestly speaking, the farm scientists like me, I need to work very much with the ICT scientists like Professor Muni and his team, how to get into that. We have to have a ready reckoner in our mobile, in our laptop. There has to be an app that look here, this location, how it is going to be, and which is suitable, which is not suitable. Another thing, another thing that I fear at this much of my career, not much I have seen in the hills. Now we say fine. I mean, we cannot appreciate. You see, we if we go to, let me take you to the drive in Nilgiris with with Munisap permitting, and most popular drive from Metropolium to Nilgiri to Kunnur to Uti, and you see the terrain, how shallow soil is there. Everything gone. Then the red soil is there. Everything gone. Then the graveliness is there. Where is the sink? Where is the soil depth? Whereas you drive from Coimbatore to other below area, or even right from Gudalur to this side area, Mysore to Bangalore, see the soil depth. That we have to take cognizance. We have never taken cognizance. I'm afraid. I'm still looking for a report or for a research paper having taken that into confidence. And that graveliness. What we are talking is about the soil. When the soil is minus gravels, what we are left with, that has to be incorporated in our studies. That has to be incorporated into our farm management system. And that is where the importance of forest vegetation is there. The litter is there, which holds as a cushion, which extends this thing right, right beyond the soil depth. Then the tertiary and other things, I think. Okay, so this now, ladies and gentlemen, dear experts, all this talking is of no use unless and until it is supported by the hard data. And the hard data has to come from the field. You know, some of us must be working for modeling this, that. For modeling, even that validation of model has to be dependent on something, na? But that something has to come from the field. Something has to come from trialing, right from, you know, maybe 2000 feet to 8000 feet and plus. So that has to be there, and that is where me and my team, I am so proud of. They have worked, and that this is just a glimpse that how details have we have gone from slope, about graveliness I was talking, the bulk density, the soil depth, and the, if you see the last bottom column of available nitrogen, from 315 kilos to 260 to only 187. If you analyze the soil only, it may not be much different, but when you convert it into the volume, this is the story, and this is a story we have to take cognizance of. I have put, I have scripted here the same, all those characterization, high productivity, I have grouped them. For example, I was just now talking about the sunshine hours, sunshine cover at 8 hours in the morning. Very good area, high producing area, 80%, then 68%. And then in the low producing, only 28%. So we have to, we can't extend the sunshine hours. So we have to adjust ourselves. We have to adjust about the cropping. Now, then the you know, from the cultivated fields, farm holding to village to watershed. As we proceed like this, what is watershed that we will see? I mean, all of us, we know, we are acquainted, but again, that much we don't know. So as we proceed, as we go scale up, it becomes all inclusive. For example, in a village ecosystem, We am bothered about my field. You may be bothered about very rightly about your field. But when it goes to the village, even that path, even that drainage channel, even that ridge, everything is inclusive, and it has to be taken cognizance of. I have devoted some work and studies on the non-arable land. Now, dear audience, I have just put three figures, representative figures about the watershed. The high altitude watershed, if you see, very steep slope, and in the background we are not able to see the snow peaks, Himalayas, and it is drained by a very turbulent river if you see down below. Then it is more a valley sort of thing in mid altitude, but the altitude is very high, and you see how the terrain condition, and this is still milder. Now we say about watershed, all these things are watershed. What is a watershed? Actually, it is an area perspective where we manage, we utilize, we try to see what are the risks and possibilities for all inclusive. So you see, if a housing is here, it is also part of watershed, as much important as anybody else. This vegetation is there, so all inclusive. This slope is there, all inclusive. So a watershed program or a watershed has a role. All these things, inclusive of terrain, everything has a role in the watershed, and like this here. And this is what happens if we see here. If we don't bother about these slopes, now it has become so severe that every other month, or maybe every other month, not in India but in any part of the country, world, if we see everything is coming down. The houses are being blown off, everything is getting blown off, and where we are left with, here. If you see, this house is going to go, and you see the turbulence. This is most stable system, and you see, nobody built temple in the water. It has risen so much, and this is what is going to be. Nobody built this, and let us appreciate two things. The well that is made, I mean, I think the well is made of Satyug, or all those days when the job was being done very, very honestly. And I don't say that now it is not like that, but it is not possible. Now what is happening is that it is getting collapsed. Here it is standing, and the river is gone. So if this will happen, then obviously let us be prepared for this situation. I have put in red Cape Town what happened, and only the other day they ranked our Jaipur and Indore very, very severe water situation. And for that matter, we know. I mean, we only try to gloss it over. So far, water is coming in our taps. Hydrologic management, sir, to achieve, attempt to achieve, actually to achieve on a long-term basis, to achieve in a profitable manner. We are talking about doubling the farmer's income right here. I have also put, and I have been asked to talk about it. Unless and until we take the entire cause and effect relationship, unless it is just like a bank account, our account book, whatever we are putting, whatever we are withdrawing, and what purpose it is serving, whether it is in the form of interest, or whether it is from a investment somewhere, and it is coming like that. So all the components, maybe next time we can discuss these things in detail. All inclusive. The rains are there. Rains, it has to be intercepted by the vegetation. You see, the vegetation and the soil, these two are intermediary storages before rains and after its flooding. And unless and until this is preserved, where things are going to be. And yes, everywhere we can't have forest. Everything. I just, in some of the earlier thing, I said about, it's getting around 12 o'clock. I said about what I said about water and cruciality of hill slopes. See, everywhere we can't have forest. Yes, simultaneous and sequential. So here the trenches are made, and it is fortunately I could take it at a very impressive time, full of water. Now, the trenches, better moisture regime, our biological scientists scientists, agriculture scientists will appreciate this. Immediately, the life will come. Why life will come? Because life needs water. Fine. Life, a small representative of life is there in our kitchens also. Any seed, even black gram or even, even red gram seed, if you see, if you put it in water, it will sprout. First thing is what happens actually? It soaks. When it soaks, the gas exchange, sir, takes place in the presence. Otherwise, gas exchange will not take place. And when the gas exchange takes place, the life process starts. The germination starts. And here it is. And it will promote more trees. And part of our wrongdoing can be taken care of here. So this has to be done simultaneously. Whatever we cannot store here, we have to store in a bigger structure. And we will see in some of the next slides that this water storage, I mean, it's wonderful. One can be flabbergasted to see what is happening even with this small efforts. I said about the hard data. My team, they worked out this is one example of the hard data, apportioning the entire rainfall. Precipitation 1200 millimeters, effective rainfall 1000 millimeters, and what we are end with crop cultivation out of 1000, only 585 in the better situation, moderate favorable situation 515 on moderate, and only around 400. So from 585 to 400 to poor situation. Now, this chart, this study gives us also opportunity that where things can be managed, where things can be, and here deep percolation losses are there. Sir, where we are short of soil depth, let us not consider about Indo-Gangetic plain. If we look around next time, if we drive around, if we happen to, now the roads are excellent. If we drive around, we will see that at least 30 feet, 25 to 10 to 25 meter of soil depth is there. So no issues. Issues are there. We are creating the issues by our interference. But here, if you see the deep percolation losses, the loss from the ecosystem is gained by the deep rooted trees, and those trees, they put the leaf litter on the surface. That is how they are recycling it. So the deep percolation losses are being managed to that extent in the forest ecosystem. In the cultivated ecosystem, we are at loss. This is just to different visuals, just we were discussing about it, I think, and these are the water harvesting ponds and all scaled up to a watershed. And I think this can be a very convincing slide. And like this, it is not just to show, but it is right there in the fields after villages after villages. Same in the same context, the nutrient cycling. Now, any expert or any well-meaning person will say, well, you can't irrigate in Himalayas. Yes, we can't irrigate in Himalayas because it is slopey, but we can. If we have the drip irrigation, we have the micro irrigation, and we have the water harvesting, and what we have shown here, we can. Similarly, we can, oh, don't bother, we will apply fertilizer. Fertilizer, where you will apply? There has to be soil for that now. And the soil must be able to accept the fertilizer. The unfortunate thing is that when we become a briefcase scientist, like why I say expert of some place, we try to impose our knowledge to the other place. Now, the nutrient cycling option, why we go for purchased input? The costliest input is in the terms of fertilizer, water, wherever it is, like that, and energy. If we manage nutrients, nutrient cycling option, conservation, and these things like that. So we are going to take care of that. Again, another set I just tried to put, why I said this, that unless and until we go for a data-based, I mean, we are talking about digital technology, we are talking about ICT, but it has to be fed by the hard information. And that hard information is here. See, that is where my people and myself, we put down to analyze, to define, to put the range and to give the values of whatever we are seeing. So here we did that. The treatments that we showed, as I was mentioning, how we can manage the hill slopes, conserve it, alternate land use, where it cannot produce crop, go for the fodder. Where fodder cannot be produced, go for the fruit trees. And that is how we have to go for a very appropriate land use for the area. Here it is again conservation. You see, the rainwater is there, and you see the good crop that is here, and the good crop that is here. It is all contributing to this. So we have to take care of the nature. We have to take care of the resources, and this, of course, similar to that. Yes, talking about increasing profitability. We have to work for that. Na? If we don't do anything, we only limit to our sowing and harvesting model, then where from the profitability is going to come? And I hope that those who concerned, they are listening, and they will listen, not today, tomorrow. And when we see when we distribute our presentation, see here the ponds, so same small ponds, and you see the benefit that they got at the rate of 6,000 rupees, even 95 kgs fish production, more than 9 lakh. You see, this is how it is scaled up. And these are all real data from the farmer's field, not from the research plot. Gross, here again, the nutrient management, then the protected culture. Yes, we all know we have been using, say, tomatoes, we can say, or even capsicum, where a polyhouse can easily provide us 350 quintals. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not saying 500 quintals, 300 quintals plus of tomato. It can easily provide us 300 to 400 quintals of capsicum. And the good thing, and of course the green peas, vegetable peas, it can provide much more. And the good thing is that it has the capability to provide it in the off season. So not only we get a high value crop, but we get in off season. So the cost, so the high value crop becomes still higher. And that is where you see the advantage in lakhs. If you see 23,68,000 high value vegetables, this, that, then now all these things are there. And this we have taken very precisely from 296 polyhouses only. So the potential has been realized. Only the thing is that it needs to be scaled up. And this is here. This is what that fish I was telling. And I think I believe that it should be convincing. It is not a small ditch or a small swimming pool affair. You see, this is a series of 3 ponds. The farmer was very enterprising. He said, "No, sir, the entire terrace I will give for that." And see this, okay. And the floriculture, we are used to that. I deliberately put this slide. Now, when we are talking about the entire nation, let us say the passbook of Government of India. I mean the India. Madam Finance Minister must be having that. Similarly, here the passbook of the entire area, Northwest Himalaya, I have just indicated. India, UP, Northwest Himalaya. It is just indicative of what we have. Unless and until we take cognizance of what we have, I'm not talking about reserve forest. I'm not talking about reserve forest and out of bound area. There are certain areas highly protected, don't disturb, like that. I have taken cognizance of the area which can be put to proper to economic use by the community. And those of us, we are from the hill area, we know that the hill community, they own non-cultivable land. They know pasture, they own pasture land, they own woodlands, forest land. It's a different thing that they have devastated. That's a separate issue. So this is the wealth. People say that people have been chiding me that what you are talking, where is the land in hills? I said, here is the land. And this is the story. Let us go. And this is what we have done actually. We have done in the non-arable land. We have worked in the arable land. and that is, and the non-arable land, apart from the individual ownership, apart from the community ownership, the best thing is that those deprived in the society, those on the lowest ladder in the society, they get benefited because we can very well rope in. This is all the situation and the visual of things done in the non-arable land. And this is the sequential what I was telling. Simultaneously, yes, go dig the pit and retain water. Sequentially, yes, plantation, do the plantation, see this, and the binding is very important. We have to go for that. Okay, impact of climate change, I won't like to repeat here. The thing is that here it is, farming component with high resilience. Now this shift is very important. Apart from meeting the, and we know about sesame, for example. Most of us all over the country we know. Can you believe that sesame cultivation is almost gone in the Himalayas? Why? Because sometime there was devastation, sometime the seed was not there, and they're gone. Whereas the sesame is one of the most hardiest crop. If nothing will happen, as against say 20 quintals or 15 quintals of sesame, at least 5 to 8 quintal of sesame will come. And 1 quintal of sesame is equivalent to 3 to 5 to 10 quintals of wheat. This is the story. So we have, so the science, and apart from science, the effort, the proper effort is very much required, and that is where the knowledge is there. It needs to be extrapolated, and whatever mega projects that we have done, it needs to be further followed up. We have a budget, we have a project, it gets approved, we have a budget for 5 years, 7 years, completed, gone. For everything we need aftercare, for everything we need after sales service, we have not yet had the after sales service for our farm sector projects. For our car, we need to go to the best dealer, we need to go to the best service station. But how about the farm sector? And contingency planning, this very meticulously worked out, that what delay up to a fortnight, more than a fortnight, and then the alternate crop substitution. I would just like to mention two things at this moment. We have come to this about profitability and climate resilience. Sir, your kind attention to these statements that we have shifted aggregate increase in crop farm production, and see, it's very, I mean, we can't talk on surface, see. We can't talk on surface, and let me impress that 3,000 hectare is not a surface. 3,000 hectare in hilly area in northwest Himalaya is not a surface talk. And what we did was that this minus 482 tons of food grains, you will see what has happened. The improved productivity, the vertical rise has spared the area, and we have spared this much 482 tons of food grain from that area and shifted to vegetables, ensuring the food security as well. Why? Because higher, now 1,800 tons of vegetables, additional biomass was this much. And so the gain here, I try to extrapolate it, of course, that what is the carbon sequestration when we go for higher production, when we switch to more remunerative crops like vegetables and horticultural crops and livestock. See, the carbon trapped for that 3,000 hectare, the carbon trapped, and it came to sequestration came to 0.35 tons per hectare carbon due to higher production. So improved production, improved prosperity, improved climate, and improved environment. I mean, they are all linked. And degradation, nothing is left. Even Metropolium and our Nilgiri trains were disrupted for such a long time, some 5-6 years ago. So reduced tillage, again, now one additional example, one additional advantage, very great advantage is there when we shift to proper land use. See what happens when we go for horticultural plantation, all good in terms of assured crop, in terms of money, everything. But my eyes are right here, reduced tillage. You know, when you go for plant, when you go trees, you prevent tilling. When you prevent tilling, that means you don't put tractor or you don't put plow to prepare the land. And when you do that, what happens is the loss of carbon to atmosphere is prevented. When you go to garden, when you go to tea states, when you go to a horticultural area, what we do, one thing we do is that the tillage is that much reduced. And this is what we have uh, we have extrapolated here, that reduced tillage, how much it helps. Well, the gradual, I was talking about simultaneous and sequential. Here is the photo of the terrace number 5, where alternates were laid out, studied. Now, this is our research farm study at the farm holding level, 4 hectares area. And then gradually, traditional crops all put together, the best thing, we were getting about 30 quintals, 3 tons. 3 tons could be raised to 5 tons to 8 tons. So this is the potential with the existing, with the improved knowledge and technology. And here is the data, what I was saying there. It is right here, sir, in the form of different components. Yes, I mean, this presents the actual picture of hill farming, hill area. Oh, crop wala bolega that no sir, I know only wheat and rice and all that fodder. That animal husbandry department ko bulao. Then the horticulture pastoral area, how they call that person, this person. But no, the farmer needs everything. Farmer needs the services of all the persons. And this is what exactly for the studies it was carried out, including the apiary, including other things, mushrooms and thing, so that total household, total output, how much it could be and how much it could be improved. And this is the actual database model, what can be done. That was for high producing area, medium producing area, and low producing area. Now, when we go to the low producing area, if you see here, land ratio I have put. Now, the farmer, everybody, they agreed, yes, sir, the crop will not come. Okay, let us go for the plantation. Let us go for the fodder and better livestock. And with better livestock, better fodder, better pasture, you know, the output or the profitability is maintained. These are the options, what can be done. Secondary agriculture, what can be done. Allied activities. This is where the layer of our the most desirable or wanted layer of our professionals can be directly put in, and they need to address to these aspects and hordes of others. I mean, these are just some listing: IT services, service providers, soil conservation, bee boxes and light trap making, power tillers. So many things are required, so many. And even the market services, yeah, right here, packaging and market services, the intelligent, what are the rates, what are other things like that. So here I have just listed some of the dominant farming system, where we land and what is going to be there. These are just some of the visuals of the actual field. Yes, the high value crops. We are talking about increasing the income. The income can be, the farm sector. I mean, the farm sector in hills, very small holding. Apart from meeting individual household requirement, one can very well go and should go to high value crops. And this is what my team has tried to show. And this is not, I mean, this is for the entire Northwest Himalaya, including Northeast Himalaya. See, I would particularly like to draw your attention, lakhs of rupees per kilogram. And this is the nursery. Now, what is the advantage? The scale. For example, in winters, in the hills where the temperature goes down to 5, 6, 8, 15, and minus even, these nursery can be grown here. That is what exactly this farmer is showing. He has already prepared these terraces for these plots, small plots. And as soon as the nursery comes up, by the time we go into February and all that, the temperature little rises, and one can take the advantage of off-season vegetables and like that. And the fodder on the terrace, it does so many advantages apart from livestock. It feeds livestock. And see the pipes. I mean, the water harvesting through pipe, irrigation, and the how flourishing banana, and all doing good, so smiling. And these are the floriculture, and we are not able to see do this the fruit crops. So all high value crops. Here again, this is the data for diversification and what advantage. See the largest data that yes, the intervention, the how the knowledge can improve the output, and when it is linked to the market, because it is linked to the market, it results in economic benefit, doubling the farmer income, doubling the income by maximizing and by reducing the losses both. So that is very important. How the vegetables were increased, how the food crops were increased, the largest area were under food crop. And yeah, that is what, sir, I was emphasizing, that largest area, 2,410 hectare was under food crops only. See this column. And it was brought to improved productivity to 370 only. And the rest of the area was only we have to go for vertical rise in productivity. So market factors, maximizing gain, minimizing losses. In hill area, so many niche advantages are there. The most important thing is our traditionally grown foods. They are and only thing is that awareness is required, branding is required, and market support is required for that. Site specific, yes, and management for harvest, loss prevention, and supply chain. I would again like to emphasize this loss prevention, harvest management. Again, in the high value cropping, organic farming is very important. I mean, almost everybody, each body and everybody is talking about organic farming. We have to understand that it is a culture. Everywhere, at the drop of hat, we can't go for organic farming. It is not that something prevents. What has happened is that wherever we have gone for farming and no culprits, nothing wrong, no culprits. We are so much food sufficient today. It is because of what we have. But when we are shifting to organic farming, what happened is that when we irrigated, when we gave fertilizer, when we went for monocropping, only one type of crop, mostly in many areas, then the natural processes we got disconnected. Natural processes means the water, the layer. I mean, even if we are able to see the top of the topsoil now, we are able to see the surface, we are not able to see the down below. The leaching within the soil profile. Then the prey insect and the harmful insect chain. One of the most popular example is that out of a lot of anxiety, people went on spraying mustard field. That no, we have to get the best crop of mustard. In that process, what they did, they killed all the useful insects which could, pollinate the mustard. And in that not pollinated area, anybody, I mean, if a unknown person like me or anybody, in fact, for example, takes up to farming of mustard, they will say, oh, lot of insects, kill them, otherwise the mustard will go. No. The insects were required for the pollination, and that gentleman or that farmer ended up not getting any mustard. So now it has become a regular practice of having bee boxes, even in the polyhouses, even in the orchards. Getting back to organic, we have to promote sequentially. And in the hill area, they are the best suitable for organic farming. The chemicals have not gone, forget about farming. Even the humans have been supported by forest only, by the ecosystem only. So we have to. What prevents is, I must have. I mean, we know it. What prevents is market, the branding, the processing, and the market chain. That is very important. So it is not a one crop. Yes, we can go anywhere and do organic farming, but that gestation period is required. 3-4 years. We may be very disheartened in the beginning, lot of production loss, no, but it builds up, and by third year or fourth year it catches up with the normal production. And anyway, the the price premium takes care of that. Environmental degradation and all this, it takes care of that. Okay, I think we will. It's around 12:30. I think.
You can have. We can go up to 12:45.
Okay.
And then we'll have address by the Honorable Chancellor.
Oh, great. So I'm grateful. I still the presentation is extended up to that. Okay. So, sir, here I have put again what what I'm emphasizing is that non-arable land. We worked for about 485 hectare, nothing from anywhere else, all owned by the community, either community or individual ownership, and that gave to 24,000 human days. What I'm trying to emphasize is the possibilities we have with us. We have been using it. Only thing is that we have been using it below capacity. We have not extended. We have, and one thing, all this we can go on talking. But you see, the farm power and machinery, we have taken to a large extent, sitting today to 2020, we have taken care of our biological system, productive capacity, possibility. We have to a large extent, we have taken care of our irrigation management, particularly in the, let's agree, in the non-hilly area and in the valley area, in the hills. We have taken care of fertilizers to a large extent. We have, sir, not taken care of energy either by human or by animal draft power or by machinery. This is one of the big, apart from the marketing, branding, and getting pricing, and fortunately now a very big initiative by the government, by these legislations, energy. And it converts all the advantages into disadvantages. Crop is ready, it cannot be harvested, no humans are there or machine is there. When we go to dryland area and like that. So, there is no need to emphasize, and take it that most of our young generation, the daughters, the sons, the daughter-in-laws, the son-in-laws, everybody, if they are running away, one of the main factor also is energy. And there is no dearth, of course. There has to be many CIAE, Central Institute of Agriculture Engineering, and others. And this is what we have shown, that if we go for farm power and machinery, in fact, 2,400 hectares we covered, and 11,700 human days were created and saved. So one saving of this much total human days generated, and this much of energy saved, which was used for some other activities. And this is, of course, branding and very basic processing. See, this is there, the honey packing machine is there, the processing of these pickles and other things are there. Again, that high value is there, saffron. And here the products are being released in Palampur, one of our university, and our stalwarts are there. I also happen to be there. Dr. Gupta, Dr. Tyagi, Vice Chancellor, Dr. Mahadevappa, Dr. Katoch, and myself. And it was a great occasion where actually we took it to end. We say end-to-end approach, we made it possible. And sir, when we do good work, our honorable Vice Chancellor, Chairman also has joined. It's so great. So we get the encouragement and support from our seniors also, from our government also, everybody. And you see this outlet made by this, the background was the building owned by the cooperatives. They gave it to the cooperative group of the village, and in that encouragement they made this sale hut, sale point. So it triggers any positive things triggers, and this is where that energy and mechanization I was talking about. So this is what is possible, and the output that much it increases. Here are the options, and this is the what we can say, very humble machines. We don't need a 4 lakh, 5 lakh or 3 lakh tractors. We need only in the hills, sir. We need only say these power tillers. See how people have just flocked around as if some big event is there, and yes, it is actually big event. And the see from this drudgery of beating the rice and other crops, how this is being done, and how this is being done. So this is all possible. It has been done. Only my plead or my request is that if it can be scaled up, and it is there. Yes, the the first condition for that is it must be on the ground linked to what is required. It should not be from this side of table, it should be from the other side of table. And this is the example of other side of table, all moving around, then discussing in our own museum. And all again, all big stalwarts are there representing the Northwest Himalaya and Northeast Himalaya. I would not like to name, but they are heads, they are ASRB chairmen, they are NEIP national directors, everybody. And sir, the other day that we saw that mm, cooperative building and the sale point. See here, this is right in the interior of the Doda district in Jammu Kashmir, now in Jammu Kashmir, our union territory. And the lamp, it is not deliberate. If you see, no light is there. And this shot was taken at about 8:30 in the night. When we go, they come. When they are there, we also go. So it is all mutual, and it confirms. I put these our national brothers and sisters here to just to impress upon that everything is possible. Nothing is impossible. I mean, that much speaking. I think I'm speaking too much here and there, sir. Making impossible possible. When we go with a plan, we have to go empower also. No, the authority has to be there. Authority without responsibility, without accountability, and without resources. Here, fortunately, the ICAR and all the state agriculture universities, I mean, we made a unique effort. See, polyhouse, polyhouse banega kahan se? Kaun banayega polyhouse? Why somebody will do that? From where? It's very easy. See, sir, if I come to your university or to some other high-tech university, they have a fund of say 45 lakh rupees or 5 crore rupees. Sir, I don't want to name established IT वाला, अरे वो ये polyhouse वाला है वो बनाएगा. अरे वो क्यों बनाएगा? हम क्यों नहीं बना सकते? And you see this? These boys and girls, they are working. This is bamboo polyhouse. This is just twisted this thing, done in our own humble way, and this man is making light trap. So everything is possible. To begin from, again, account book, what is required per head, that this calculation, then we extrapolate, and then we see that what is going to be. And the gray area can always be there. Everything cannot be done by everybody at any time and every time. So the gray area, whatever our potential, let us do it, help others. Whatever we can't do, take help from others. And that gray area has to be. Now we are talking about vulnerability. one of the biggest problem of our farm sector has been the vulnerability. And the vulnerability because of the lack of diversification and because of the lack of complementarity of different inclusiveness. So before we undertook a study, and in that study, see these are the columns. So much variability. Food crop, सबसे ज़्यादा food उगा रहे हैं, most of the area. Why? Because production is low, nothing can be done. At least we have to eat for 10 months in a year, or without food security, of course. And then the vegetable almost practically nil. From where the health security is going to come? Then the livestock and fruits, and but with the now this is what we have arrived. And at least the third one, the livestock has gone up, providing continuous income to the family. We are talking about women empowerment. This is women empowerment. See, when we go for potato cultivation, it is not women empowerment. When we go for green pea cultivation, it is women empowerment, because every evening she can pluck a basket full or a bag full, get some 500 rupees and run the household. Potato वाला वो ट्रक में ले जाएगा, पता नहीं कब आएगा. Okay, sir. So this is again appropriate farming, and it is a very, very complex, very wide canvas. We can't close our eyes, or we can't ignore any aspect. So this is my humbly, I have put this little clumsy it has got, but this is where an entire system we have to manage. Farm productivity, loss prevention, marketing, policy, productivity, profitability, employment, and livelihood enhancement. अगर सब होना है, everything has to be there. Now, everything doesn't mean that nothing will be happening. We have to take cognizance of all the components. And this is what is modeling. This is what is all getting to all cause and effect relationship, aiming at doubling the farmer's production. Now here again, I won't like to repeat. Here again, I would like to emphasize that the hard data has been put, and how we have gone from we have scaled up. We have gone from farm holding, as we saw, then we have come to a full village level, and then we have gone to regional level. More than 3,000 farm families. Now, the full village level, if you see, many components have come in here, sir, which, in a large area, that much variability. And the highlights were higher productivity of crops, so maintained crops production from less area. And so higher proportion of 2 to 2.5 times of vegetables, fruits, and fish, they became part of that. And so per family, from a notional figure of per nali and advantage has been worked out with the income that could be from that area. This is for the entire region that we worked out. And the individual districts data is there. What has made the difference? Need-based intervention, enabling farm families, and robust technology and backup. All the segments of society being inclusive. And here just I tried to put that it is, we can't glass it over. From when we think big, we have to work big, we have to do big. And from farm holding scale to village scale to regional scale, entire community, terrestrial and aquatic resources, national policies, mechanization, agro-processing and marketing. All things have to be put under one umbrella. Now, for all this policy support, we have to have paradigm shift, and that is required. I would like to, where it is, I would like to emphasize, sir, about this aspect, since we are we are emphasizing the curriculum, research and technology development. That is one of the basic block. And enabling an empowerment, information-based smart agriculture. Yes, sir, it's very interesting. On one hand, we are talking about we are so comfortable today. We are more than comfortable in farm sector from the production point of view and the food security point of view. Yes, 100%. At the same time, what is the, can we stand scrutiny of the welfare and prosperity of our farm families? And for that, if everyone needs refreshing, everyone needs refresher courses, everyone needs upgradation, farmers also needs upgradation. And do we do say, I mean, I will emphasize that I'm from the same, I'm from ICAR, from same this thing family. We have KVKs, fine. KVKs, people come and go. In 5 days or in 15 days, who can become expert? Who can do the things? So my humble suggestion, and I have gone on emphasizing that we must have a hybrid program or whatever combination, whatever we may say, for the practicing farmers. At the most we say, अरे rural area से कितना agriculture में graduates आ रहे हैं? अरे fine. Why they will go? Do they go back? Let us, and yes, we have a limitation of farm sector because our farm family people, they have to be there doing farming. So we have to devise a program, a curriculum wherein equivalent to graduate, equivalent to postgraduate degree, we have to provide them, so that, and with a post credit program, they can go for some credits right in the lab, right in the university, maybe maybe for 6 weeks or 5 weeks, or in the staggered way. If the requirement is for 10 months, let us stagger it, sir. And then their field work. All of us, we have gone through that type of arrangement. And that field work, let them do it in their own farm field with a associate or with a guide, and even a senior farmer also can be a guide. And then let them come back, let them write. We will help them to write. Let them write their report, let them come back, let them have fully knowledge, fully enabled. We go on prescribing. I mean, all this talk who is going to be the working partner actually on the field? It is the same farmer, same farm women, same farmer children. So if we have to improve anything, first we have to improve them. And for that, I think we need to rethink. I have been discussing, I have been pleading with most of our ICR education institutions, our fisheries education, our IVRI, our IARI. I have yet to see that. I think it should take shape. Yes, about the agribusiness, everything we have to take care. And the code we have worked out, what cause and effect, ecoregion, resource condition, and this is specific to the specific ecoregion. So the values from that, as a host of the charts I have seen, have to be incorporated. So, sir, development of smart hill agriculture, a chronology we can say, gradual induction of technology. We have to enable concurrent skill improvement, complementing policy, investment, infrastructure, and processing and marketing. Then the next stage could be the intensification and transformation of farming from a way of life. Largely till today, 70% or more, it has been way of life. Of course, there is a lot of change now to a vibrant agribusiness. Why we cannot think or take the other way around, and then resulting in economically viable, socially acceptable, and environmentally safe farming. Now, these are not just words. It has to be, sir. If my graduate, if your graduate, Honorable VC sir or Chairman sir also is there, if he or she gets a package of 5 lakh, 10 lakh, 15 lakh, maybe even 50 lakh, why my graduate farmer we cannot assure him or her a package of say 5 lakhs? Let us take it. An urban housewife, if she gets 10,000 rupees to run her household on an average, why not we ensure that a rural housewife gets about 5 to 8,000 to run her household? Is it not required? Is it not? It should not be the bottom line. And then why this? If this will happen, why migration? Everybody, I mean, most of them, most of us, we need our own. We have attachment. We are emotionally involved. So ICT enabled market oriented intelligent farming system. I think we have to calculate back the other way around. How much is required? And then the gray area. Yeah, we may say that, well, look here, we may go to the government, we may go to the employment unit of our university that, well, look here, we need to support this situation. Either there will be out migration or we need to support 2 months of their livelihood. We can assure up to 10 months and gradually maybe up to 12 months or maybe more. So that pay package has to be ensured from the in the farm sector. So career possibilities, so many sir career possibilities are, I mean, at every stage. Now many of the entrepreneurs, many of the startups, they have started custom hiring for the instruments. They have started custom hiring for the machines. They have started custom hiring for others. I think we can respect and honor our guests, honorable guests. So knowledge machine, polyhouse, tank, product and processing. Forest is a very big gray area. We have not much been there. Then the career option, yes, these are the career options for our students and like that. And I was requesting again for, I mean, I was emphasizing that major quality certification is another very big aspect where one can go. So now to our just to few slides to conclude the paradigm shift pre-farming stage aspect. I mean, it cannot be. It is just like when the rain is there, we cannot prepare for the rain. When the rain is there, we can't prepare. We have to prepare. So pre-farming stage aspect, then farming stage aspect, post-farming stage aspect, and then afterwards market hub like that. So if you see so much of sir business opportunity, career opportunity is there, and if we aggregate it, I mean, I would urge, and I will, I volunteer myself to fully volunteer myself to work it out. That I would like to say that is such chart can be put in your farm sector or dean farm office or like that. That I mean, farm education. That well, look here, these are the aspects where you can go, where you can specialize, where you can knowledge you can make use of. And that goes on, reorientation of research, reorientation of resource ecosystem, corresponding education reorientation, reward and recognition system also is very much required. I have just put out some gray areas and emerging challenges that we need also to, not also, that needs to be needs priority attention. Challenges have to be systematically busted, fine. Contingency planning is very important. Now, a contingency planning cannot be at an individual level, particularly in the low, what I can say, low economy area of the hills. It has to be a community affair, and then it has to be supported by the government affair or any institutional affair. Because suppose the seed is gone, then so the community, the government, maybe the seed, a particular seed may have to be brought in from Imphal, or maybe have to be brought in from Arunachal, or maybe from Metupalayam, or maybe from our Wellington. Wellington we have a base for our wheat. So that has to be taken care of. Created potential to production fine, production to saleable product is very important, and then product to fine to profit. So a massive infusion is required, and for program investment and policies, efforts are lacking in the hill areas. They are not matching. Then the great innovative ICT enabled skill development, farmer scientists and service providers.
Srivastava, can you conclude your.
Yeah, I think we are just there, and so the transforming way of life, way of farming as a viable result-based livelihood, and adoption this pathway is very important for. Sir, one thing I just wanted to emphasize that data-based, our ICT enabled, and like that, we can be, as very rightly we were discussing sometime back, we can be a world leader in the hill area, not only in India, but in the world, in the similar ecosystem. So, with this, it is my honest feeling and my humble request that can we think, work on a mega initiative for Himalayan areas, for Eastern and Western Ghats, Nilgiris and Palni, for transformation of hill agriculture. And we can have a thrust on demand and market factors and our strength, ecosystem site specificity. And our greater strength is our traditional knowledge, our elders, the biodiversity, the material that we have. Yes, there is one sentence I want to say at this moment. Most of the improved material, improved varieties that are coming either from Almora Institute, Vivekanand Lab, Vivekanand Institute, or from Northwest Himalaya or Northeast Himalaya, they are built upon traditional varieties. In the process of breeding and improvement, it is built upon traditional varieties. No borrowed variety material from somewhere else. Suppose a plant material from Maharashtra, it may work, that is different, but it may not work. So thrust on demand and market factors, agro-ecosystem, greater use of natural resources, intelligent farming system, smart farmers, knowledge and skilled enabled. So the aftertext is that inclusive management is very important, and all those what we have been emphasizing, we have to meet. And everybody has to join hands. I deliberately put, sir, this slide. In fact, this man happens to be me. Then this gentleman, honorable person, happens to be the chief secretary of a state. And this gentleman happens to be the member of parliament. So unless and until all this are combined, and then we go to farmer's field, सबको मिलना पड़ेगा. It has to be everybody's affair, everybody putting in, and then we are there. We can be the best in the world. So this is what I wanted to say, sir. I would say it is not end, Dr. Saab. It is the beginning of a new phase.
Thank you, Dr. Anil Kumar Srivastava ji. Can you come back? Can you come out from your presentation?
Yeah.
It was very nice of you. I was afraid that this program has to be rescheduled because of the connectivity issue.
Yeah.
Then I took risk that let me continue. Anyway, I will take about 15 minutes to introduce the team, because I'm always in my career, I'm an optimist, is a technocrat. And luckily, Airtel provided you the connectivity without any problem for the last 1.5 years. Thanks to Airtel for connecting from Dehradun to Delhi and to the worldwide.
Definitely.
And Dr. Anil Kumar Srivastava, that you have, your address today to the audience, to the participants, on the importance of hill agriculture and the smart hill agriculture has given and strengthened its importance as to how we should go for smart hill agriculture. And from bottom of my heart, I thank you, but I'll reserve my my remarks towards the word of thanks. Now, the Honorable Chancellor of the University, Shri Kumar Shekhar Vijendra, has joined, and I will, and after his valedictory address, and I will propose a vote of thanks, and I will also summarize what has been, talked so far. Now, it is, I'm very happy to welcome the Honorable Chancellor of Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Shri Kanwar Shekhar Vijayendra. He is joined now in the session. He is the co-founder and Chancellor of Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, a NAC accredited deemed to be university, and Shobhit University, Gango, Uttar Pradesh. Mr. Akhilesh, can you project Honorable Chancellor's presence? I think Mr. Srivastava-ji, you have to go background.
No, it's fine. We are able to see everybody. I am able to see Namaskar. And just to save your time, I believe
just 1 minute. Let me do my assignment. He is a prominent social entrepreneur based in New Delhi and carries leadership roles in many organizations. He has been nominated as the co-chairman of National Council on Education of ASSOCHAM, the oldest apex chamber of the commerce in India, for the year 2021. Sri Kanwar Shekhar Vijayendra is a persistent advocate of initiatives for education for all, secular values, crisis management through diplomatic and peaceful ways, and globalized system of learning and harmonious coexistence. He has been instrumental in the development of a number of higher education institutes in North India, including 2 universities, many research centers, an Ayurveda Medical College, College of Naturopathy and Yogi Science, and 100-bed Ayush Hospital. He is very actively involved with a number of social organizations. Acknowledging his contribution in the area of education and other concerns, he has been copiously honored and awarded. He has traveled widely in India and abroad to the countries like USA, UK, Germany, Australia, Russia, China, South Korea, Vietnam, Mongolia, UAE, Mauritius, Rwanda, Uganda, and Croatia, etc., to participate in various professional and social and educational activities. And the Honorable Chancellor, we would like to hear your, valedictory remarks of the very important conference today, Digital Hill Agriculture, addressed by Dr. Anil Kumar Srivastava. He was the former director and former emeritus scientist of Indian Council of Agricultural Research, VPKAS Almora, and his 1.5 hours lecture was able to brought out the various issues related to hill agriculture, how it can convert hill agriculture and the possibilities, into reality. Over to the Honorable Chancellor, Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology.
Thank you very much. It's indeed a pleasure for me that I am not only witnessing, I am participating in a series of very important national webinars on doubling farmers' income by 2022. As our Center for Agriculture Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, chaired by Professor Moni, they have taken this initiative after the Honorable Prime Minister's call that by 2022, the farmers' income should be doubled. I have a conviction that it can be doubled when everybody will join hands. I congratulate and thank Dr. A.K. Srivastava for a wonderful deliberations today. Last 15 minutes I was there, I was listening to him, and I was happy to listen when the last photograph he mentioned and he explained that a technocrat, a scientist, a bureaucrat, and a politician, when they will join hands, then the change will come. The same way, when the research institutions, universities, they will join hands together, they will stop working in silo, in isolation, then the change will come. a lot of knowledge creation has happened in this country. If I look at your institution, Vivekanand Parvatiya Krishi Anusandhan Sansthan of ICAR, or I look at other institutions and research labs of ICAR and other such bodies, so much creation of knowledge had happened. But as Honorable Prime Minister said, that when we will go from labs to land, when we will be in position to execute it, and that execution part, Shobhit University decided that we will take the research work, we will take the thought process, we'll take the knowledge created by such wonderful institutions and individuals to the masses. This particular webinar, when we look at number of participants, it looks very less if online we look. But actually, it is being telecasted live on Facebook, on YouTube of the university. And I have seen that thousands and thousands of people are going through, they are listening to it, and they are sending their not only compliments, but suggestions and advices, and their willingness to work with us on this issue very frequently. When I look at today's topic, smart hill agriculture, a digitalized hill agriculture value system. Many times I talk to Professor Moni, I ask him many times, Professor Moni, from where you found all these topics? When we were talking about spice informatics, when we were talking about tribal agriculture, hill agriculture, however, it is there already there, but it has not been explored yet. Because knowledge creation is fine. But when from knowledge creation, wealth creation will start? This is the main question. And I believe this is what Honorable Prime Minister is talking very frequently, that integration of knowledge with the land will happen, wealth creation has to happen, and that wealth creation will happen when we all will come together and work together. I was supposed to speak many things, a lot of things were there, but majority of that has already been covered either by Professor Moni in his introduction. I was listening to him in the morning, and rest everything has been covered by. So I am afraid that repeating of everything is of no use. Some very important points which came to me actually. One is integration of all efforts and everybody's efforts. It has to happen. And how it will happen? It will happen when technology will enter in, when common platforms will be there. We may be working in silo, but we should not become island of excellence. We have to remain connected with the mainland. We have to remember every time, and we have to remind our youth every time that mountains are world's water reservoirs. They provide 70% of the fresh water resources to the world population, 50% of the population, for domestic use, agriculture, and industry. When we look at Himalayan regions, like major hilly areas, so Western Himalayan region, Eastern Himalayan region, East Coast hilly region, or West Coast hilly region, we have so much. Just we have to see how to utilize it. Many times we have reasons, we will say we have micro holdings, we do not have connectivity, we do not have this thing, we do not have that thing. But many times when it comes, it reminds me of one, that when there was a crisis in Ramayana, where Hanumanji went. He went to Dronagri Parvat. And he went to Dronagri Parvat for Sanjeevani Bhuti. We all know that all our Himalayan hills, they are full of wonderful herbs, medicines, horticulture can happen, organic farming we can talk about, a lot of things we can do, but we all have our excuses. Dr. Anil Kumar Srivastav, thank you very much, because your talk today was not only a theoretical talk. I'm happy that today you were speaking from heart. You were not only talking about what you have done, you are talking about what has to be done, what we can do together. When you talked about that we should have small duration programs for farmers and our practical and partners can be farmers, yes, it has to happen. As Shobhit University has taken this initiative, I will like to welcome you to Shobhit University. And don't come there to deliver a talk, come there to motivate people around, to get integrated, to do something with us. Because today, when I talk to our graduates, BSc Agriculture graduates or BTech Agri Informatics graduate or anybody, they want everything, but they do not want to become farmers. In Shobhit University, we have one very important thing, what Professor Moni through all these national webinars is trying to do, that if you will not serve farmers, you cannot save farming. And to serve farmers, you have to empower them. That empowerment has to come through proper trainings, through innovation, through motivation, induction. We have to enable them. We have to transform them. And when we talk about migration, migration happens due to economical crisis. We have to remember social challenges are there, then only migration happens. Nobody wants to leave their home. They leave because we are not able to provide them neither education, nor livelihood, nor health facilities. I'm happy that in last few years, our government is very sincerely working in this direction, but still a lot has to be done, because we cannot wait for the government to do everything for us. We have to join hands. I am happy that you had been director of an institution named after Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda in my office also, you can see, he is there. And he never said that somebody has to do. He always said, if I can have 100 people, those who are committed, dedicated, and decide to work, we can bring the change. And I'm sure that this particular effort of integrating, connecting, networking, all resources, those who are working for the welfare of farmers or agriculture at large, this effort of our Center for Agriculture Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, it will bring results. But if it will only remain a webinar, only deliberations, discussions, nothing will come out. It will come when even virtually we will join hands. With all distancing, we will come together, we will hug each other, and we will decide to hold each other. Because this creation of knowledge is happening, there is no dearth of knowledge in this country. Since ancient times, we had always been Vishwaguru, but that knowledge is lying in meal pieces. That connectivity has to come. We have to connect it. And this connectivity in agriculture is also required. In farming is also required. Because my yield, if it is not going to the market, if it is not going to the right person, if I am not able to sell it, that connectivity is not there. Networking is not there. And technology has to play a very important role in that. I am sure, Professor Moni, that as hills are source of food, feed, and medicine. This thing our scientists, they know, technocrats, they realize, bureaucrats, they talk, and politicians, they speak. So, but the fact remains that yes, our hills are source of food, feed, and medicine. And in this country, with wonderful demography, we have to empower our youth and make them skilled so that they use these resources, natural resources, and they are able to provide food, feed, and medicine, not only to the country, but to the world. So thank you very much, Dr. Anil Kumar Srivastav. It was a wonderful lecture. I missed initial, but 15-minute, last 15 minutes, because again, I am repeating, you were not giving a theoretical presentation. You are talking from heart. And I always say from heart, either people, those who are mad, they can talk. Mad is people, those who are making a difference. It's not that mad. People, those who are making a difference, either they talk or those who have owned something, they talk. Entrepreneurs, owners. So you were talking from heart. Thank you very much. And I'm looking forward to welcome you sometime in Delhi, in our university campuses, and see that how the synergy can come and we can work together for empowering our nation through agriculture, through technology, and ensure that the income of our farmers get doubled by 2022, not only on papers, in reality. Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Moni. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, the Honorable Chancellor of the University, Sri Kanwar Shekhar Vijayendra, for your wonderful valedictory remarks of the today's program. And on behalf of the Chancellor of the University and on behalf of the Vice Chancellor of the University and faculty members, and on my behalf as the Chairman of the Center of Excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies of the Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, I thank Dr. Anil Kumar Srivastav for his very encouraging address today on the topic of hill agriculture and why smart agriculture is needed. And he also almost brought out all the issues in the form of why and where and what and how and for whom and by whom. And and he also very effectively said there are constraints. Those constraints have to be converted into opportunities. And there are possibilities. Those possibilities have to be converted into realities. He talked about transformation of hill agriculture with very effective presentations. If the research scholars of both agriculture science and computer science would have been participated today, they will be seeing through the various live from Facebook and and YouTube live telecast. They would have got umpteen number of research areas to work on it. This would have given a confidence level for the various computer science students to join with agriculture science students to establish agri startups in hill areas. It is very nicely said it. Hill region, it is it gives an economic border security, ecosystem border security, and it gives water. And if mountains are not there, the plain area cannot live properly. It's a danger to them. And so it is. And another thing is that it is about 10% of the population live in hilly areas. And that's the reason only that since hilly region comes under the rainfed area, and the Doubling the Farmers' Income Committee report, wherein I, as the former Director General NIC and also Professor Emeritus Informatics and E-Governance from the university, been associated as the chairman of 2 subgroups for formulating the draft recommendations, where the 7 mission mode recommendation programs in the area of digital technology in agriculture have been suggested. With the 7 mission mode programs of digital technology in agriculture and the 2 legislations, promulgated by the government of India to usher in agricultural reformation or agriculture transformation in the name of agricultural reforms, which yesterday in the latest publication, which Dr. Srivastava said it, that India Today talks about farming, reforms 2.0. So this is achievable, to bring in smart agriculture, smart farming, and smart hill agriculture, smart rainfed farming very effectively. And it also facilitates at least to establish 1 Agri startup ICT enabled in every Gram Panchayat. Dr. Anil Kumar Srivastava, you have very effectively brought out that this, through your talk, you have very effectively brought out that synergization and convergence of various system components of hill agriculture is essential, and the digital technology can facilitate this. And in order to prove to the country, it is essential to undertake a mega initiative by the Centers of Excellence of the Shobhit Institute of Engineering Technology in association with other associated institutions of the country in 4 areas: Himalaya region, Eastern Ghat region, Western Ghat region, and in that particularly, in your entire talk, you have given concern with respect to what is really happening in Nilgiri Hills and Palani Hills. And both are in the state of Tamil Nadu. And Palani Hills is a pilgrimage center. It is a Hindu pilgrimage center where the Lord, Muruga is staying over there. And and it is a very important suggestions which you have prescribed. And you also said it that the farmers have to be converted, have to be facilitated as smart farmers, e-farmers. And you also said it that research, technology, and farmer skill has to result in a paradigm shift. It is very important, and this is possible through digital technology in agriculture. And I am very happy that the Doubling the Farmers' Income by 2022 committee talks about 3 categories of digital technology for agriculture transformation: smart irrigated systems, smart rainfed systems, smart tribal agri systems. Last week, we had a presentation on smart tribal agriculture, lantana camera, which is a hammer-flashed, treasure trove. About 50% of the forest area are covered with this toxic plant. It is a poisonous plant, but which has got large-scale commercial value, large-scale medicinal value, large-scale, furniture, manufacturing value, which can replace can raw material. But yesterday, when we were talking about it, you also brought out a very important thing. The tribals use this, wet lantana camera as a rural fuel, and that in wet condition, it burns, it gives energy. And so it means that every aspect of this lantana camera can be converted as a commercial proposition value, and which is, our Indian forest, management is talking to the government to clear this weed. But even if you clear it, it will come back. So it is, and I'm very happy that as the next, address in this webinar series, we have logically, put it that smart hill agriculture is very important. There is a commodity. He talked about almost all commodities, plus lantana camera can bring in not only the doubling the farmer's income, but it is an income revolution in the hilly area. Income revolution. And why can't we convert through this digital technology, through the efforts of our centers of excellence, to convert, hill agriculture as a smart hill agriculture. So thank you very much, Dr. Anil Kumar Srivastava, for delivering a very effective and emphatic and progressive address with action plans, and your experience, your expertise, and your former association as the director of the Vivekananda Institute for Hill Agricultural Research institute, and it speaks volume, and your international experience and your national experience. And it is the right time that, as it suggested by the doubling the farmers income, and we should associate National Rainfed Area Authority, for which Dr. Ashok Dalwai is the CEO, and he is also the chairman of the Empowered Committee for implementation of doubling the farmers income committee reports recommendation. And he is also patron of this webinar series on doubling the farmers income by 2022. And I am very happy that your action plan, your way forward, will facilitate the establishment of large scale agri IT startup for hill agriculture to convert the hill agriculture into smart hill agriculture in the days to come. I thank all the viewers, those who are viewing the live telecast, and the faculty members and the vice chancellors and the other colleagues, my friends from Shobhit Institute of Engineering Technology, and from the government, for this very meaningful address today in the webinar series. Smart hill agriculture is the way forward. And you also very nicely said it, that why can't we train the farmers in the hilly region in using digital technology? The Shobhit Institute of Engineering Technology has worked out a 1-month program for e-governance in in farming sector. And initially, we, on the advice from the Director General Horticulture Services of Government of Haryana, we have designed this program for the supervisor for horticulture agriculture for Haryana, and this can be customized for 1 month program on e-governance in farming sector for hill agriculturist, and also the youths of the hilly regions. And the second one is that in order to bring in the rural youth to get into agriculture, because you said that agriculture should be the preferred option, career option. So in order to motivate the agriculture graduates and computer science graduate, because their curriculum doesn't, they are not synergized so far, but this university, in order to bring in synergization of both the agriculture technology and information technology, this is the first university in the country, in the world, to establish a center of excellence in the name of Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies to synergize agriculture technology and information technology in the form of a new curriculum as information agricultural informatics, And we provide MTech in agricultural informatics, BTech in agricultural informatics, postgraduate diploma in agricultural informatics, and diploma in agricultural informatics. And to convert the rural youths who got, already graduates in agricultural science and computer science and non-computer, other engineering discipline and postgraduate sciences discipline and so on and so forth, to get back to agriculture as a preferred career option through ICT, through digital technology in agriculture. So we would like to have your association with the Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Studies to promote smart hill agriculture in the days to come. Thank you very much, and thank you, I thank the Honorable Chancellor of the University for finding time to participate in this program, and I also thank Mr. Akhilesh Singh and his team for supporting this webinar series through live telecast, in a very effective manner. And I would like to inform the Chancellor that because Dr. Anil Kumar Srivastava was not able to get the connectivity initially, and he has almost lost the hope, that he was requesting me that, Professor Moni, you reschedule the program. But myself and Mr. Akhilesh, we thought that, let us continue, let us see that. And then I told Dr. Anil Kumar that let me introduce the theme. I will take about 15 to 20 minutes. And by that time, if you are able to get it, well and good. Otherwise, you address through your mobile phone and I will present it. But luckily, within 10 minutes, he was on board with us. And today, without any disconnection, we are able to address to our audience, and we have not disrupted our webinar series in the line. Thank you very much for all, and we'll see you next week at the same time, and the topic will be Mera Mobile, Mera Marketing by none other than a very expert, a woman scientist, and Madam Prakati, Gokhale. He was a former deputy director, retired from Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Rural Industries, Wardha, Maharashtra. And let us meet next week at 11 a.m. Thursday, on 12th November, 2020, to listen to Mera Mobile, Mera Marketing. Thank you very much. Good day.
Thank you.